Greetings and welcome back to my channel! For those of you who know me on TikTok or Instagram, you know already that I build a microscope for a living. And for those who don't know me, that's what I do. I build a microscope for intraoperative analysis of cancer during surgery. Over the years, I've put under the microscope a lot of random things. My hair, lipstick and lip balm, pork, a burger, and these were just simple way for me to test and calibrate the instrument before moving into the actual sample. Now, I love Nutella, and as much as I love Nutella, it occurs to me I've never put it under a microscope. So, why don't we move into the lab and put Nutella to the test?
Welcome into the lab. Today, we're going to use a Raman microscope to look at Nutella.
My instrument can be used in two different setups, a standard magnification microscope or optical microscope where we have objective of different magnification power and we just look at object closer or further out. Then we have our laser setup. A laser comes in from the side, goes through a series of optics and then inside our sample to perform what are called Raman experiment. This technique that is named after the scientist who first discovered the property of light, not the noodles, is used in a lot of different fields. For example, art, biology, diagnostics, so for example to measure cancers versus healthy tissue, and it can be used as a security measure. In certain airports across the world, you can find a special type of Raman spectroscopy called Spatially offset Raman. This technology allows you to measure the content of a bottle or plastic container, both powder and liquid, without the need to take it out of the bottle. So at the airport, we can check if you are trying to smuggle drugs, for example, mixing it with milk powder or inside normal liquid, without taking it out of the container. Pretty cool, huh? Next time you travel, make sure you check if there is a spatially offset Raman in the airport that you're flying from. Before we move into Nutella, let me demonstrate how the technique works with our standard, which is a silicon chip that we use to test that the instrument is fully online and properly working. This is how our silicon chip looks like using the 5x magnification. So we have an overall overview of the device. Then if we switch to a closer view, so using the 20x magnification, we can see much more clearly the letter and different parts that make up the chip. Finally, when we switch to the 50x magnification, we are very zoomed in into the detail and we have a full letter on the screen. Once the instrument is set up, we can turn the laser on and start to inquiring to what are the materials that make up our substance or object. This green dot is our laser, and once the laser hits the sample, the instrument will spit out some peaks, and these peaks and the position on the peaks are related to the material that is inside my chip. I know already that my chip is made of silica, and silica has an intense peak at 520, as you can see on the screen. So, congratulations, if you made it thus far, you've made your very first Raman experiment. Now that we have a little bit of basic, let's prepare our Nutella sample and see how it looks like under the microscope. Let's start with the optical investigation of Nutella. If you suffer of tryptophobia, please skip this part because it may upset you. So this is how the Nutella looks like under the 20x magnification. So we notice that the Nutella is made of two components, a smooth and a particle component. So when we zoom in and out focusing on one part of the other, we have the appearance of these weird looking holes. And this is how it looks like under the 50x magnification. Quite interesting. Not at all what I was expecting Nutella would have looked like. I thought it would have been just a smooth blob. Now it's time to switch on the laser and see what is inside Nutella. Performing the experiment with the Nutella was actually quite hard because the Nutella is so colored it was interfering with my measurements. So I had to try a lot of different ways to get a nice spectra of the Nutella. But what is inside Nutella? What we are to expect when we perform a Raman experiment? Can we have an idea before we start on what we should look for? Well, according to the label, Nutella contains sugar, which is the main ingredient, palm oil, hazelnut, milk powder and cocoa powder alongside some emulsifier. This is how the spectra looks like. For an untrained eye, they might be a little bit noisy, so I tried my best to trace them over with a paintbrush. Now let's focus on the spectra of the Nutella spread over a glass slide. This is how it looks like. In order to assign the peak, I used the reference found in the literature. Raman spectroscopy is vastly used for food adulteration, and so you can find on the internet the Raman spectra of the majority of the food that we consume daily. So, let's look at the spectra. Based on the reference, I could identify all the main components of the Nutella: palm oil, hazelnut, milk powder, cocoa powder, and sugar, which is quite reassuring considering how much Nutella I consume weekly. So, overall, although they make it hard, I did it, guys. I cracked what is the secret of why Nutella is so delicious. Anyway, those experiments were a lot of fun, and I can't wait to test something else. If you have any suggestions or any favorites that you would like me to test into the lab, please comment down below. If you like this video and you would like to see more content from us, please don't forget to subscribe and to click the like button to help us produce more content. See you in the next video!